So you can hear me clearly, right? Okay. So Shantideva, chapter 9. So today we are start from that's called establishing as the path, knowledge that ultimate truth are emptiness. Okay. So actually from here, the few verses talking about that establishing that Mahayana teaching is Buddha's teaching, or proving that the Mahayana teaching is Buddha's teaching. So the Vivashaga here, one of the representative of Pali tradition, sometimes we call Hinayana or Pali traditions. So the Pali traditions, they are many of them they rejected the Mahayana teaching because they have many reasons to say this is not the Mahayana teaching. This is not the Buddha teaching. So within many reasons, today here the reason is because the Mahayana talks about emptiness, which is lack of inherent existence, and who against that, the Vivashaga and other Pali traditions, so they think emptiness is same as like a nothingness. So therefore, Buddha talks a lot of the karma, nirvana, or so many paths and result. So if this all nothingness, then it shouldn't be Buddha's teaching, because Buddha will not talk that. So therefore, they have confused that between emptiness and nothingness. So therefore, but on the other hand, some Pali traditions, not says many of Pali traditions, they agree, they accept that Mahayana teaching is Buddha's teaching. So therefore, not all Pali traditions rejecting that. So include Vasubandhu. The Vasubandhu, earlier time, Vasubandhu also rejected that Mahayana teaching. And then finally, Vasubandhu learned more from Asanga, and he shows that all this Mahayana teaching are the profound, and then finally he sees that very valued, and it is Buddha's teaching. So otherwise, he was also one of them who rejected Mahayana teaching. So anyhow, but the Pali tradition has a two type. One type who's reject the Mahayana teaching is Buddha's teaching, and another type, for example, the Pali tradition has a Vivashaga and Sotantrika. Sotantrika all accepted the Mahayana teaching is Buddha's teaching. But I can say all means like here 80% Sotantrika attended schools are accepted that Mahayana teaching is Buddha's teaching. But Vivashaga has a two type, which I mentioned. And then the who are that accepted Mahayana teaching, there are four school there in Vivashaga. Actually, totally, there does have 18 school, 18 branches. But there are four main school. Within these four main, Mula Saravastins accepted Mahayana teaching, and then also Arya Mahasangika, we call Tibetan Gindun Pechinde, they accepted the Mahayana teaching as Buddha's teaching. But here, Aryama Samithya and another type of the school, the main school called Satyavaras. Today we call Theravadas. Satyavaras are also, these are kind of rejected. The Mahayana teachings are not Buddha's teaching. Okay. So, and so therefore, here now, not all Vibhashakas are the who was debating here, right? So some Vibhashakas are talks that who rejected Mahayana teaching completely. Okay, so their statement, their position is here saying, through cultivating a direct vision of aspect of the Four Noble Truths, such as impermanent and so forth. So forth means they are like each truth has a 4 aspect. Total, we have a 16 aspect of the Four Noble Truths. So realizing this all 16 aspect of the Four Noble Truths. So that's the saying, so forth. One will be liberated from disturbing conceptions. So what is the point of cultivating a vision of an emptiness that is not established as anything? So that's what they said it. Okay, they think achieving nirvana or achieving Buddhahood is that enough to just realize the 16 aspect of Four Noble Truth. So then why we should extra meditate on emptiness, why we should realize emptiness extra, not needed, not necessary. And even emptiness itself is not Buddha's teaching. That's how they reject it, right? So as I said, there are many reasons to reject Mahayana teaching, and this is the one of the reason. And here Shantideva tried to prove and establish or value that Mahayana teaching and emptiness. So here, all this reasoning, what we're going to read and we're going to learn are the proving that emptiness is the Buddha's teaching and it's valuable. So okay, anyhow, I don't think we can cover, or you are interested to hear this all reason how they rejected Mahayana. Okay, we go with the emptiness today. And then also it is such as impermanent and so forth, the 16 aspect of Four Noble Truth. Maybe most of you might know, as just remind you that the first truth has a 4 aspect. First truth is truth of suffering, right? It has a 4 aspect. It's called suffering, impermanent, empty, and selflessness. This is the 4 aspect of truth of suffering. And then second here, truth of origin has also 4 aspect, which we call originations, high protections, cause, and condition. Okay, and then third, truth of cessation has also 4 aspect called cessation, peace, excellent, and definite release. And then last, the truth of path has also 4 aspect called path, reason, attainment, certain deliverance. Okay, those are 16 aspect. And then there are many teaching on Four Noble Truth and 16 aspect. If you're more interesting, maybe you might find many books on that. Actually, all the 16 aspect, it is not just counting number here. It has a big reason. For example, I will give you the first truth, right? So they have a misconception or misthought about that's the truth of suffering, right? They are misthought about what we call the four aspect of truth of suffering is apply to clear or antidote for four misconceptions. The four misconceptions that thinking everything is permanent, right? And thinking that the sufferings are happiness, or thinking that impurities are purity, and thinking that selflessness is the Atma self, solid self. So it have four misconceptions. To clear for that, then apply the four aspects of Four Noble Truth. And then four misconception, we do have it. And also this four misconception talks about one of the non-Buddhist school, tenet school, or most of non-Buddhist tenet school talks strongly about that. The four misconception is valued and true. So then Buddhists said this is wrong, it's misconception, has to be clear. That's how need to understand about each aspect of Four Noble Truth. It has a lot to learn actually. So this is this is common practice between both Pali tradition and Sanskrit tradition. Okay, otherwise today's terms called Theravadas and Mahayana. Okay, so this is just generally, and then now we go with the line here, how they reject it. They said emptiness is not necessary to cultivate it, because the Four Noble Truth and 16 aspects are enough to eliminate the cause of suffering, eliminate the cause of root of samsara. This is how they said it, right? So okay. The Madhyamika, I don't know, maybe go this simple or goes more details. Let's mention it, maybe it's good to know. The Madhyamika answering here, but here is not all Madhyamika, okay? Only the Prasangika answering here, right? Like a Sautantrika, below Sautantrika, Chittamatra, the Sautantrika is also Madhyamika, right? Madhyamika. So, but Sautantrika tenet school still think the achieving nirvana or liberate from samsara is not necessary to cease the emptiness. They think the subtle selflessness is enough to liberate from samsara. They talks that. Therefore, here Madhyamika answering to the what called the opinions. This is the one of that opponents, how to say opponents?
Opponents, yes.
Yeah, opponents, yeah. The Madhyamika, Sautrantika is also one of the opponents here, because Sautrantika Madhyamika not exactly talks where the Vivashagas talking, but they think it's not necessary to see the emptiness for liberations from samsara. Okay, so therefore, who answering here is the only that Prasangika Madhyamika. Clear? Okay. So now Madhyamika here answering. It is necessary to behold emptiness because it is taught in the perfections of wisdom, scripture, Paranjaparamita Sutras, that without the path of the wisdom that understand emptiness, there will be no resulted awakening. So there are no achieved enlightenments. That's the said. But if you careful things when the answering by Madhyamika is still quoted by Buddha's teaching, Paranjaparamita Sutra, which is not accepted by Vivashaga, right? But why? At how they rejecting their statement, rejecting their their thoughts by the quoting from the Panchaparamita Sutra, because the Panchaparamita Sutra is not accepted, right? Yeah. So, but it's still saying here, it should be behold emptiness because it's taught in the perfection of wisdom, which is Mahayana's doctrines, Mahayana scripture, right? Which is called in Sanskrit Panchaparamita Sutra. So, and in that sutra, Panchaparamita Sutra, we can take example as like a Heart Sutra. We all know that Heart Sutra, there are no nose, no eyes, so on, so on, so on. And finally say, without these, we cannot achieve enlightenment. All three times the Buddhas are enlightened by realizing these things. Said in Heart Sutra, you can think this is the one of the sutra, and there are many. Most of like Paramita Sutras talks about that the emptiness is only the one who can let you achieve Buddhahood, or which can lead you achieve Buddhahood, or which can eliminate all the ignorance. That's most of Panchaparamita Sutra talks of that. And then special, but Lama Tsongkhapa, so his commentary on Madhyamika. So what's say in English, Chupa? Lama Tsongkhapa's commentary on Madhyamika, Chandrakirti Madhyamika. It's like
illumination of the thought.
Yeah, illumination of the thought. Yeah, that's said. So in his illumination of the thought is quoted like a main three Paramita Sutra, and then the more he quoted also three Paramita Sutra, and also he quoted from Pali tradition sutras to talks about that it is values, it is beholding. So anyhow, so far we can understand that. Take example, which sutra talks about that is the Heart Sutra. As we all know, well known, right? So you can take the Heart Sutra as example, which is talks about that. But still, we have think why you're quoting from Mahayana teaching to who not accepted Mahayana teaching, right? You understand, right? Why I'm talking. Okay. So there Lama Tsongkhapa's main disciple, Geshe, in his commentary said, there are two reasons to quoting. We know that the Vivashagas are not accepted Mahayana teaching, but still they do not accept it Paramita Sutra. They do not accept it because it's Mahayana teaching, right? So, but still why it's quoting from there is because of that. We will let them know that some of the Vashagas are accepting it, therefore it's quoted. And also quoted from Paramita Sutra because to what call okay, so let me see in dictionary what to say it. It says open the corresponding okay. Okay, I think it's like an open more debate to you will see the what day talks in next, right? So this is the reason why the way beginning quoted that Paramita Sutra. Okay, so but here few texts that to talk about that the establishing Mahayana teaching is valuable and Mahayana teaching is Buddha's teaching. This is one here, and then also Baba Viveka's his text, I don't know, Tibetan called Dhargey Barwa, it extensively talks about that. To Mahayana teaching is Buddha's teaching, and Nagarjuna's his teaching that Rinchen Tenwa, the jewel of garland, also talks about that, and then Maitreya Buddha's on his ornament of sutra also talks about that. Dodigen, that's what it's called, Dodigen, ornament of sutra also talks that. And which is the main yeah, these are so far I see the talks about that establishing Mahayana teaching is Buddha's teaching. Okay, so let make easily Baba Viveka's his text Dhargey Barwa, and both Oma Nyingbo is the root text, Dhargey Barwa is his commentary, and then Nagarjuna's jewel of garland, and then Maitreya Buddha's ornament of sutra, and Shantideva text here. Okay, so the simple way to say one of the reasoning from ornament of sutra, what Maitreya's ornament of sutra says here, if they are if the Mahayana teaching is not exists, Buddha shouldn't be exist, because Buddha is enlightened from Mahayana teaching. If Mahayana teaching is not exist, Buddha shouldn't be exist. If Buddha is not exist, then how come Pali tradition or Theravada teachings exist? If there are no Buddha, then not the Theravada's teachings are there, right? So that's the simple way to know that Mahayana teaching is, because even they rejected Mahayana teaching, but they all, the school or Buddhist school, accepted Buddha. And the Buddha is not just liberations, right? They accepted Buddha is more than liberations. They accept Buddha has to become true by Bodhisattva. And then Pali traditions, that they think for just attain nirvana is not necessary to become a Bodhisattva, but becoming Buddha is necessary to Bodhisattva. So therefore, they all accept the Buddha is more than Arhat. And then how comes this? This is the one reason, say that. And another reason, I'm just giving you a few simple reasons, okay? Another reason saying, if Mahayana teaching is the wrong, and it is not Buddhist teaching, it is disturbing to Buddha's teaching, and Buddha should be, what we call in English, Buddha should be prophecy in his text. Say, okay, this is a wrong teaching. In future, some might be do this, and you shouldn't accept it. You shouldn't follow. Buddha will be more awake to us through by his prophecy. Prophecy, that's called, right? Which is talking about the future.
Yes.
Yeah. So there we didn't see any Buddha's purposes to talking about that Mahayana teaching is wrong. And on the other hand, they might say, oh yeah, every wrong teaching is not necessary that Buddha should be mentioned at earlier time. But how come this is way danger to disturbing Buddha's teaching as Mahayana is wrong? Then why Buddha's not mentioning is a big danger things. Buddha must be mentioning it. So therefore it's never sees in his textbook that any of that he rejected or he mentioned about Mahayana teaching is wrong, or it's because in Buddha's provinces, many future what problems comes, how many remaining the Buddha's teaching, and when who's did like wrong at the time. Many he talks many on this his teaching, but if so, then Mahayana should be mentioning that, but didn't see any of this. Therefore, one simple reason saying that. And another, like a little bit profound and reason saying that the root of samsara, root of suffering is, we all know that we call self-grasping, right? Self-grasping or grasping on, self-grasping means like a, okay. Maybe I can leave this reason to talk later. So this simple two reason that how talks that proving that and establishing Mahayana teaching is the valuable. Okay. So at the once Madhyamika said that it must be beholded because of Paramita talks that. And then Vibhashaka saying, and as an answer for that, but since the Mahayana teaching are not the word of Buddha, they are not established as a credible scriptural authority for us. And then Madhyamika said, but then how are your scripture established are credible? This is how we know that. If Mahayana scriptures are not credible, then how your teachings are established as a credible, right? And the Vibhashaka says that they are credible because they are established as the word of Buddha for both of us. You accepted that Theravada teaching is Buddha's teaching, and I accept it. There are no argument, there are no debate. So we both accept clearly, therefore it's a credible.
Okay.
Okay, and a brief way to say there are two there are two ways to establishing Mahayana teaching is valuable. The one is quoted and quoted by Buddha's teaching, and another is giving more reasoning and logic. And then logic has a two type here, giving here we'll call the one reason is called like a gonyom gotsung girikpa. Gotsung means equal, right? Similarity, equal similarity. So it's whatever you're giving reason, this goes to same reason for us to establish Mahayana. That's kind of thing, giving us like a it's called equal similarity reasons, right? And then another reasons there. So now we are talking here that equal similarity reasons here, saying if how you are establishing your teachings with this scripture. That's what he said, because both of us, right? So so the both of us means what, right? That's actually questions comes. Let me read the next one. They are credible because they are established as the word of Buddhas for both of us in Madhyamika. Then at first, prior to your acceptance of your tenets, your scripture cannot have been the word of Buddha, because at that time they were not established as the word of Buddha for you. Okay, so he is talking, what is the another translation is? We are reading we're still reading 41, right? Okay. Hinayana, the Mahayana is certainly not authentic. How is your scripture authenticity? Because it is by both of us. Then it's not authentic because you're from the beginning. Okay. And then saying here, what does it mean, both of us? You and someone else, or someone else too? And then you and someone else. Then how come at the way beginning, as you are childish, as you are very very small, you it is not value for you, or even the Pali traditions and Theravada tradition is not valuable for you. is you are not accepting as the Buddha's teaching because you don't know about that. Then answer is saying, yes, at that time when I was young, I don't know about that. It's true. But I learned many scripture and I learned many reasoning, through by many reasoning. Therefore, I understand it is valuable, right? Then Madhyamika is saying, if you learn more, that's the way you understand. It is authentic teaching. It is credible, right? It's valuable. Then you should also learn all these Mahayana teachings that you will find it out that it's credible or authenticity. What is it? Authentic or another translation?
I think it's saying authenticated.
Authenticated, yeah, authenticated. So it seems like valuable.
Authenticated is like to be proven true.
Oh,
Or
okay.
To be proven like real.
Oh, okay. Then I can use that authenticated. So that's the saying. The way beginning, even not for you, that the Pali tradition or Theravada is valuable and not the authenticated. So, and then after you learn, that's you must say that after I learn all these things, therefore it's authenticated for me. So if so, then you should go same way to the Mahayana teaching, right? So you see few different type of Mahayana teaching, like say emptiness. Not really understand emptiness as you think emptiness is nothingness. If you take that way, it's nothingness, then you are not really study well, or you're not really goes more and not study well in Mahayana teaching as you did for Theravada teachings. If you saw, then you will not misunderstand about the emptiness. So far, it is misunderstanding about emptiness. Therefore, you're rejecting it. That means you are not study as like what's called Theravada teachings. Therefore, you must go, then you will understand. This is saying, yeah, right? Okay. That's how come say, oh, when you are young, you don't know anything. It's not value for you. It's not authenticated for you, right? It's not the Buddha's teaching for you. And that's automatically they might say, oh, I study it. Then why not you study to Mahayana? That's exactly saying the equal reason. And then the Vivashaka answer here. Nevertheless, they are still creditable because we learn about them from a pure, unbroken lineage. Okay. So here said, apply the same faith and respect to Mahayana as you do it. Something is true because it is accepted by two different parties than the Vedas and the okay, this is too different. Anyhow, that's the Vibhashaka said, right? Vibhashaka said, nevertheless, that creditable because that learn about them from a pure unbroken lineage. So then if you learn like a pure unbroken lineage from Mahayana, then you will understand same, right? So this is how it's stated. Okay, now I think here next. Madhyamika, but this reason for which you believe in your scripture is equally applicable in the Mahayana, because we too have an unbroken lineage of teachers. Furthermore, if you accept something as true simply because two people accept it, then you should also, okay, this is true, this is the next reasons. up to here is talking about that. If you learn from your unbroken lineage teachers, then you should also do same to Mahayana, that you will understand. Okay. So the furthermore, it's talking here, if the two person is not just you and someone else, the many other peoples accept it. Many other people authenticatable, right? Authenticated. Okay. So many other peoples can. If your reason is that's two people is not just me, is me and you or me and someone else. It's many other peoples are authenticated this Pali teachings, and then saying if this is the only reasoning to that saying it's Buddha's teaching, so that then it answer here, Mahayana. Furthermore, if you accept something as true simply because two people accept it, two people value it. Two people means like more than two people or many people. We can say, okay, many people accept that, therefore it is value. You know, if you say that, then Vidayas, or what called, I think, Vedic knowledge, one of the non-Buddhist teaching, Vidas or Vedic knowledge. Vedic has kind of like it's kind of like talking about the all knowledge. One of the like Brahmin what called, yeah, the doctrinal what's called one of the Brahmin group, the non-Buddhist, and then who is worshipped Brahma. Okay, this is one of the non-Buddhist tenets called the who accept the Brahma. Okay, so this is Vidayas, right? The Vidayas teaching is talks that four wrong things which I mentioned, like as self, that talks Atma, which is Buddhist talking about selflessness. It's not really Anatma. Buddhist talks about Anatma. They talk Anatma. Atma. They talks that created, Brahma is creator, and then also they talks Brahma is permanent, and so on, so on. Buddhists not talk that. So if just simply you are giving applied reason that many people accepted it, therefore it should be valuable, it should be authenticated, then you must accept it. The Vedas teaching or Vedic knowledge is also that authenticated, because many people accepted that. If so, then it's all talks about contradictory than what you accepted. You accepted all phenomena, like all compositional factors are impermanent, but their talks are permanent. You talks about Atma, Anatma, their talks about Atma. Then you must accept that all these teachings are true, because these teachings are authenticated, right? So therefore, this is not the only reason enough to say many people accept it. Okay. Okay, now next. Then Vibhashaka giving new reason. Okay, now I'm not only saying that, right? Then Vibhashaka said, the Mahayana scriptures are not credible because they are disputed, right? Yeah, it's like they are because they are disputed, or maybe they are more having debate on it. So then Mahayana answering here, but since all your scripture are disputed by the non-Buddhists and some of them by other Buddhist schools, you should reject your own scripture too, because it's disputed. So if we look back to the history of all these 18 school of Vivashaka, all are rejecting each other the way beginning. All the 18 is not comes at the same day or not comes in the same month. It's time by time this comes, right? It's like a split it. Many branches comes from that. There were all this all the Vivashaka tennis school, but there are many branches split it from different view and different arguments, and each are saying your one is not Buddha's teaching, you are wrong, therefore we are not follow you, and another saying you are wrong, this is not Buddha's teaching, and so on and so on. They have a lot of argument each other. There are a lot of disputing each other within just, I'm not talking between the non-Buddhists and Buddhists, within even Vivashaka. And historically, you can see that a lot of disputing each other to their teachings are not Buddha's teaching. At the time, they did not talk really talks about Mahayana. They only talks Theravadas. They only talks like a Pali tradition. Theravada is actually, so far we are using the Theravadas for Pali tradition because this is one who exit now, which is exit now. Otherwise, better called Pali tradition it's not, it's more than Theravadas. They have a lot of branches there. Anyhow, so all these Pali traditions within, like the inside, rejecting each other. This is how come that 18 branches in Vivashaka, right? Vivashaka. So, and then Mahayana saying, if just only reason they're disputing each other, then you should also rejected your own teaching, or you should say it's not Buddha teaching because the Vivashaka has a lot of disputing each other inside. And also, of course, we have a lot of disputing with the non-Buddhists and Buddhists. Just therefore, having just disputing or having just argument, having just questioning is not enough to prove, say, it is rejected or is not valuable, right? Or is not authenticate. So that's just how we said it. Okay. Here, okay, here, right? This is how it, yeah. And saying, them other Buddhist school, you should reject your own scripture too. Okay. So before I move to next 44, let's see how much you understand that what we talked. I can see here Richard say Saravasdivada Vivashaka Sanskrit. Okay, Richard, what do you try to say here? Oh, okay. And then next, Mahayana, neglect the effect of the, okay. Okay, that is what is the Buddha's constantly thoughts. Okay, any other question or how much you understand about that? So far, how many reasoning applied for proving Mahayana teaching is authenticated? Okay, Wesley?
Yeah, I guess what I'm noticing, especially in verse 40 there, when Shantideva initially says it's necessary to understand emptiness because it is taught in the perfection of wisdom scriptures. It almost seems like Shantideva is almost, because from what I understand in terms of that, the idea of valid knowledge, or pramana, is that things are established via direct perception or inference, and not necessarily because it is said in a scripture. So I'm wondering why Shantideva sort of gave this argument in the first place, saying like, oh yeah, we need to understand this because the scripture teaches it, which, seems like it kind of goes against the whole idea of, no, you need to establish things by reason or inference or direct perception or to, establish something as a valid part of the path.
Yeah, it's my bad English. I try to explain it, say what is exactly questioning for that. So, because Geshe, one of the disciples of Lama Tsongkhapa, he said, the quoting is because to shows that not all Vivashakas are rejecting Mahayana. That's the one reason. Another reason is opening for next discussions. So because next discussions comes because it says in the scripture, the Vivashaka said it, right? This is how open the next discussion, the next discussions. And also the way beginning quoted Buddha Pramanens, Paramita Sutra is what called the third reason, I guess, right, could be like a which shows that we really accepted it. Like Shantideva said, we really accepted it. That's the shows. That's not the main reason. The main reason is, as Geshe just said, it opening the next discussion, and it also shows that all Vivashakas not accepted that way. Some of Vivashakas accepted Paramita, therefore quoted for them.
Okay.
Does this answer for your question?
Yes, yeah. Which I sort of find interesting there is that I guess there's, like as you said, it's sort of Shantideva's opportunity to, argue for the validity of the Mahayana scriptures, because he could have also taken the route of, explaining how even the scriptures that the Vaibhashikas accept also subtly teach this idea of emptiness, and that perhaps they just don't realize it, like same way that I guess Nagarjuna did with the Mula Madhyamaka Karika, how the whole thing was a commentary on a Shravaka text.
Yeah, all reasoning will come. All reasoning come, and so far I was allowed to give the many logic reasoning gifted, and also will come, but it has a reason to way beginning quoted by Paramita.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Richard Chappell, can you read the Richard?
It says, it is not a concern if non-Buddhists disagree. We are looking for the authentication of Buddhist teachings by lineage amongst Buddhists. To say that there are three methods of establishing credibility. One is empirical evidence. One is logic. The third is reliable authority, such as the historical Buddhist work. It is this third method that is being debated here.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. So any other question? Yeah, no problem, Jordan. So have a good rest. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. So, okay, then we can move to next, right? Okay. It is 44. You accept any teaching which can be classified into the three scriptural categories. Pitaka as the word of the Buddha, according to whether it discuss the high training of moral discipline, moral discipline, consultations, or wisdom. If this is so, since there's 3 training, it looks like commentary. So 3 trainings are taught in most Mahayana scriptures, such as the what was Samdharani Muchana Sutra. They are therefore similar to your scriptures. Why do you not accept them as the word of the Buddhas? Okay, let me see what is said in Tenza Kilongi na Kilongi Yakahane. Longxian La Yang Rang Xian Da Zui Jin Ji Qi Dou Xia Ding. Okay. Okay, anyhow, this is the one reason they rejected Mahayana, saying the Mahayana teachings are not related with the three basket or 3 training, right? That's what they said. They're not really related with the 3 basket or 3 training. One of the reasons is saying why it's not related with 3 basket, or the 3 training is which is the subject of 3 basket. 3 basket we call Tripitaka, the Sutra and Vinaya and Abhidharma. There's Tripitaka. And 3 trainings are the subject of Tripitaka. Sutra talks about consultation, Vinaya talks about morality and discipline, and then like Abhidharma talks about the wisdom. That's how these 2 related, right? 3 basket or and 3 training. Okay, so here I can use the 3 basket as a scripture doctrines, Tripitaka. That's what they said it. So all these Mahayana teachings are not related with the 3 basket, 3 Pitaka. Therefore, it is not Buddha's teaching. How come it's not related? Then they said the Mahayana teachings not really talks about the disciplines, and as well as not really clearly talks about concentration as well as wisdom. And also when Buddha teachings collected, right, when Buddha teachings collected after maybe after 1 year, this is how it began. After 1 year, how Buddha's parinirvana. So that's the beginning. All Sangha comes together and collected all Buddha's teaching. At that time, they never collected the Mahayana teaching. Only the Pali traditions teachings collected. So therefore, these are Mahayana teaching is not related with these three basket, and because it's not collected when they collected in 3 basket. That's the said it, right? So, but the Mahayana answer is yes. The Mahayana teaching is not that much like a established as Pali traditions. Pali teachings are established because Mahayana teaching, when Buddha taught about the Mahayana, all the Bodhisattva or like a non-Bodhisattva who are learning Mahayana, they comes and they learn, but they're not staying in one place to establish and put in a monastery, because as a Bodhisattvas always motivated to be helping sentient beings, right? So then after they receive teaching, then they go all their different places to either improve their teachings better, their practice better, or benefiting to others. Therefore, the way beginning, they are not really have the monastery and Sangha group, the Mahayana, because it's always scattered after they receive teaching. That's just one reason that not really visible, the Mahayana teachings. And then part regarding the collecting things, it's not collected by three arhat, right? Ananda. When the Buddha's teaching collected the first time, collected by three arhat, the Ananda and Kashyapa, and then I forget the one another name. So these three arhat are collected, all this Buddha's teaching, but they are not learning that much about Mahayana. They couldn't collect it. Therefore, all the Mahayana teachings are collected by Manjushri, Avalokiteshvara, and Vajrapani. It's not necessary that all has to be seen and all has to be has to be invisible and well-known for public, right? So as Pali tradition, how they conceal or collected the teachings. So therefore, and if you more study it, Mahayana teaching, then you can see how much talks about that moral ethics, morality things. You know, we have an external Patimoksha vows, all this Mahayana accepted. Top of that, Mahayana also talks about the Bodhisattva vows, Tantra vows. And when we look at the Bodhisattva vows and Tantra vows, we look at the Bodhisattva vows, all these vows are actually reducing self-centeredness, which is cause for all others chaos or mysteries. And why is not right thing to do? Why is wrong? All these Bodhisattva vows are, right? Because it's practically reduce your self-centeredness, as well as the Tantra vows do same. So therefore, we have additionally vows, talks a lot on that. And then how come you say the Mahayana did not talk morality? And as well as Mahayana talks about consultations, many different ways to consultations. Mahayana talks about calm abiding, Mahayana talks about spiritual insight. And then when you look at that spiritual insight and calm abiding, you will see the Mahayana talks about that, consultation and wisdom. Especially you might have, the Vivashaka has more problem with the wisdom, part of wisdom, which is emptiness, but they really not clear understanding about emptiness. And on the other hand, say that what I tried to say at the beginning, if you want to see selflessness, or if you want to reduce self-grasping without seeing the phenomena are lack of inherent existence, you will not completely understand selflessness. That's the way you will not completely eliminating the self-grasping. So eliminating self-grasping is necessary to seize the lack of inherent existence on both self and phenomena. For example, when we see each other first, or when yourself, you grasping to yourself because you see your phenomena, your form, right? Your feeling, your discriminations, all this comes first and you grasping on it. These all are phenomena. So therefore, without eliminate grasping on phenomena, how could you eliminate grasping on yourself? Because without form, you will not identify yourself or others. All we identifying each other is first we see the form, body, then we see the feeling. As you are identify yourself, as you see the feeling, you feel that feeling, you have discrimination and consciousness. All this you feel it, therefore you say I and my, me, right? The self identified by these five heaps. Same way that other persons also we identify by their five heaps. First time we see the form, then we say identified it. That's how we're grasping it. So therefore, without clearing the grasping on the phenomena, you cannot completely eliminate grasping on self. So that's the Nagarjuna's. This is Nagarjuna's logic. Say, "Jisi pungpo zinyu ba, disi dilangan zinyu." That's the line says in Nagarjuna. Until you are grasping on 5 heaps, then you will have a grasping on a self. It means, again, another way to say, without eliminate grasping on 5 heaps, you cannot completely eliminate grasping on a self because it's too much related. And the first moment you are grasping on a self because you see the 5 heaps. This is how Nagarjuna, one reason saying it's not enough to see selflessness for eliminating root of samsara. Because the Vibhashaka and other like Pali traditions are talks about that. To eliminating root of samsara is just seeing selflessness, not talking about our phenomena, grasping on a phenomena and also not talking about that. Sees the selflessness is enough to eliminate the root of samsara. And then Mahayana said, if so, then how could you eliminate self-grasping by only selflessness? Because we grasping not only the self, we grasping self through by the 5 heaps. So therefore, without eliminate the grasping on the 5 heaps, how could you eliminate the self-grasping completely? So therefore, you must see the lack of inherent existence for both self and phenomena. Okay, that's how we said it. Let's see, now what do you have a question? So next year, 45, they're starting the new reasoning. Up to here, all the reasoning we said, equal similarity reasoning, that whatever you said is goes to same to you, right? Equal similar reason, that's talks about it. Now is next, we'll talk the new reason. So I can start from next class. Okay, you can say either what you talked, no, I do not understand, or you can say, what is this?
Hello, Geshe.
Hello.
It seems like all the people that are arguing haven't really seen emptiness themselves. So,
Is it cigarette?
Yeah.
Oh, this I hear your chicken.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Please repeat again. What's your question?
Well, it seems like all the people that are arguing haven't really seen emptiness themselves. So it's kind of hard to actually say one person is more correct than the other. I guess you have to experience yourself if I want to know what emptiness is and if it's complete, if you see emptiness.
Oh, okay.
You know, I just find it a little confusing because they're all arguing, and I guess none of them have. Maybe they have seen emptiness, but you know, it sounds like they're just talking about something they don't know anything about.
No, as we talk, then yes, we talking, nothing knows anything about it. But they talks, when they talks like either non-Buddhist school or Buddhist school, they are scholar, as they are also practitioner. They talks based on their exceptions. They talks based on their wisdom, their knowledge, their experience, right? And they
Oh,
said,
okay.
okay, my experience was the perfect one, and it should be Buddha's teaching. And then I cannot experience is what you taught it. And then that's how they are debating each other. So they do have their own experience. They do have their own some kind of value or wisdom there. But their experience, how much authenticated or how much valuable, this is we're looking, right? We are looking for
Yeah.
that. So the best things, our experience will be talked about, which is real emptiness is, which is real like a wisdom is. But regarding that, we have to learn all this they talked it. We have to careful listening, careful learn what they talked it, what their reason is, what other Madhyamaka talk, what the Madhyamaka's reason, all the reason that gives us to think. And then we are examine it one by one, see how much they are reasoning. But it should be not one-time class, two-time class. We have to hear completely what the Vivashaka's reasons are. Regarding that, we have to study all Abhidharma. But we are so far regarding the Vipassana school, we study briefly here and there, not complete one. And then same way, Madhyamika, so far we talked a lot about emptiness. Regarding Madhyamika, also, we are not learn complete textbook. We are here and there. So if you really want to investigate and examining those emptiness, we must understand one school completely and another school completely. All this study well, then we can examine it, then see which is really authenticate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of studying.
Of course, yeah. The study will never end until enlightenment, until become omniscient, not just this life. So that's the way saying, therefore, this life is opportunity, never waste it for study it, because we have to study until enlightenment. Because ignorance will remaining until enlightenment. But day by day, time by time, we can clear the one of the ignorance. This is which is good things.
Yeah, get a little closer.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
All
Okay.
right, well, thank you. Thank you for that.
My pleasure. Anyone else?
Geshe, yes. Are you saying that the Vibhashika school didn't believe that Buddha taught the Mahayana teachings? Only some of them?
Only some of them.
Okay. And who was it in the Mahayana, besides the Buddha, who ran with that teaching? Was it Nagarjuna that spread the Mahayana originally?
Originally, yes, it is.
It's Nagarjuna. And they, the Vibhashika
Only Nagarjuna and Asanga.
Asanga. And okay, so the Vibhashikas don't kind of believe Mahayana because they're saying it wasn't the word of the Buddha, but doesn't this all have to do with the turning of the wheel also, that the first turning of the wheel was like the Vibhashika, and then there were higher teachings in the second or third turning of the wheel? Didn't this all happen in his lifetime?
That's how we see it, how Mahayana talks about that. But the Pali tradition, they have only one time turning the wheel Dharma, not two time, third time.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, I
They
see.
talk about that.
Oh, okay. And that's just another question is, you know, the Monday class with the Sri Lankans. Okay, so they don't believe in emptiness. They don't believe in this teaching.
Yeah, this is today's their exit. But when we look at the historically, like a way have like spreaded the Pali traditions, Sri Lanka, Burma, Cambodian, Laos, and Thailand are right. When we
Right.
look at the Burma, we can find many Tantra statues. and then also Thailand as well. So that means the Mahayana teachings goes there. And historically, as I said, the many Vibhashaka tenet school, there are many branches, right? The many branches also accepted Mahayana teaching, but not applied for their own practice, but they accepted. Without accepted Mahayana teaching, they will have a difficult to define Buddha, how Buddha comes, right? So this is some kind of contradictory there. And they, for our when we learn that their tenet school, we never sees they use the term emptiness, shunyata, in their doctrines, their textbook. But one of the Sri Lankan Bandis said, yes, they talks about that shunyata line, but they talks empty of defilement. That's how they describe it, not the empty of lack of inherent existence.
I see. Okay, so that's good to know. So they only believe there was one turning of the wheel,
Yes.
not three.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Geshe.
No problem.
So, Geshe, that one turning of the wheel was the one when the Buddha taught the Heart Sutra?
No.
No.
First one, Four Noble Truth.
Four Noble Truths. Okay.
So we all accept that. So as I said, this is not the only one reason why they reject Mahayana. There are many reasons, but each reason answer it by in Baba Viveka's text and Nagarjuna text. And here, Shantideva was a little bit here, and then Maitreya Buddha's ornament of like a sutra is also a little bit there. So they raise all the question what they talks, and then answer for each. But looks like when we listening Dharma as like a historical way, then it's like a complicated. But when you see what really talks in there, this is how I believe Mahayana, right? So Mahayana talks emptiness. When we meditate on emptiness, it's like automatically the kind of like it's a meditating on it. Even we not completely sees emptiness, even we not completely experience emptiness, but a little bit knowing is help us to reduce anger and so on. So that must be yes, I said authenticate. Anyhow.
So Geshe, one other question then. As far as the sutras go, are there Mahayana sutras and Theravadan sutras different?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All the Theravada sutras, the Mahayana accepted. Because the Mahayana is additional, right? So Mahayana is additional on what the Buddha first training wheel of Dharma. Therefore, it's all depend on people's wisdom. This all depend on people's like ability or capable to understanding how deep or not. Okay. So that is very good that we having discussion with the Theravada every the first Monday in a month. And so far we talked about that Buddha's life. Even they're not talking the liberation lifestyle biography. We talked that we call namtar, right? So anyhow, that's what we're talking now. Now we are talking about that how splitted Sangha member after Buddha's parinirvana. So if you join, you can ask any question like a Mahayana, way to Mahayana perspective or Theravada perspective. You can ask question openly because we both are there. Mahayana tradition is there, Theravada tradition is there, we're talking together. And another way to say, today's Theravada traditions or Pali traditions, it's really open for Mahayana. For one reason, there are a few reasons they're open. The one reasons they are saying we Buddhists should be all come together, union. I don't see this is really great reason or big reason to discussion on that. But this is one reason. Another reason, there are so many beautiful reasons there. Does this make sense? That's why I continue that works in United Sangha concept. Okay, any other question? Okay, thank you then, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you,
Geshe-la.
Geshe-la.
Thank you, you too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you, Geshe-la.